Let's be honest, trying to secure a car loan can be a pain. Comparing lenders, filling out forms, trying to figure out rates and terms. It's overwhelming. That's why working with Nero Financial is such a game changer.
Work one-on-one with a dedicated broker who handles everything for you because, let's be honest, admin, it's not everyone's cup of tea. From finding the best deal from over 90 lenders to doing all that paperwork and to guiding you every step of the way.
It's like having a personal finance assistant whose only job is to make this easy for you. The service is completely free to you, doesn't affect your credit score, and you're never pressured to go ahead unless it's the right move.
Take the stress out of getting your next vehicle and call Nero now on 1300 025 949 or visit nerofinancial.com.au/paddock43.
Welcome back to part 2 of our Christian Horner deep dive series. If you haven't already, hit pause and go back to part 1 because we cover the history and the evolution of Christian Horner and the Red Bull team and sort of their dominance in those glory years and the drama and the drivers and all of that.
Mm-hmm. But today is where it gets spicy.
Spicy.
I think this is the episode that people are actually waiting for.
Anyone got WhatsApp?
Text, the investigation, the internal chaos at Red Bull, and how it all blew up in 2024 and in 2025 especially.
Some have likened this to the downfall of Christian Horner, that this is where it all started and why Christian Horner is no longer team principal and CEO. We don't know the real reason, by the way. It's all speculation at this point.
All alleged issues.
But let's just say there are group chats that we would definitely pay money to see. Not one particular group chat. We have been sent that. We don't need to see that again.
No. Ugh. But if we wind it back, so early 2024, news breaks that Christian Horner is under internal investigation by Red Bull Racing. The accusation? Allegedly. It's like I need to say that a lot. Inappropriate and controlling behaviour towards a female team member. An external barrister was brought in and the entire paddock was watching, but Red Bull was tight-lipped.
And then this is where it got like real interesting. So we heard of these allegations and everyone was kind of sort of blowing it off online, being like, oh, it's just a rumour. And then it just went boom. And an anonymous email blast. I'm pretty sure this actually came out on the day that he was cleared by Red Bull for internal investigation. So someone behind the scenes sends an email out to all key F1 media journalists that are in the paddock weekly, as well as other team principals, with a Google Drive link. And it was sent to 100 people. And it allegedly contained dozens of sexually explicit WhatsApp messages and photos that Christian Horner had sent to the complainant. The leak happened the day after Red Bull had cleared him of any wrongdoing, and the timing was brutal. And we saw this Google Drive. It got sent to me. It did the rounds. And I remember sitting there thinking, nah, these are all photoshopped. And I was like, I actually don't think this is. And then there was that one photo. And that photo will be forever scarred in my brain, I think.
It will.
If you've seen it, you've seen it. If you haven't seen it,
you're lucky.
You don't need to see it.
Yes.
I'm just going to put it out there.
Yes. And the FIA and FOM stayed silent, but it was clear that it was no longer just an internal matter. The integrity of Red Bull and the trust of its sponsors and fans was very much on the line.
There was a lot of fans defending Christian Horner saying it was fake.
Well, that's always the way.
But yeah, that public fallout was massive, and inside the team, it was just absolute chaos. I mean, like we touched on in part 1 of this series, we got a photo with Christian Horner just sort of after all of this had happened, and a very prominent figure in F1 said, do not post that online, whatever you do. So there was a lot of things going on in the paddock. But the team chaos, like we said, was chaos, especially because the Verstappen camp, particularly his father, Jos Verstappen, who has a temper at the best of times. So I feel like we can say that.
Yeah.
He was furious. He said Red Bull would explode if Horner stayed in power. So he really put the blame down to Horner.
Yeah, and I mean, I totally respect that. Like, I think he's not wrong. Like,
I think he was also Jos is questionable and problematic.
Yeah.
As is.
Yeah.
But he was also, I think, questioning Horner, being like, how is this the face of the team?
Yeah.
And so I don't think that's wrong. We've discussed this before.
Yeah, we have. You can go back to past episodes. And yet, Horner showed up to every race weekend with Jerry Halliwell, if there's people that don't know, ex-Spice Girl, she is Christian Horner's wife, by his side, smiling for the cameras. But behind the scenes, people were just jumping ship.
Remember that iconic photo of Jerry Halliway rocking up in Baku just after all of these allegations and explosions? I'm pretty sure it was Baku. And they're hand in hand and they had like 1 million photographers around them. She just was
Smiling.
by him. Yeah, no, it's the whole thing screamed fake. But let's now talk about the internal exits. So at the same time, Adrian Newey, the whispers are going around. He is the genius behind Red Bull's aero dominance. He'd been at the team for quite some time and was appointed in the team by Christian Horner himself. And he then confirmed in May 2024 that he was going to be leaving. And this was a huge blow for the team. It was shocking for the F1 world. He's been there from day one pretty much.
I mean, he's basically the one that created the car that won all those constructors. It was
that one race back to back.
So this was huge. So Rob Marshall had already gone to McLaren. Sporting director Jonathan Wheatley was reported fielding offers. Pierre Wash, their tech boss, was rumoured to be in talks with Audi and Mercedes. Helmut Marko, publicly at odds with Horner. Yeah, the list goes on.
And then there was also that fallout with Sergio Perez. Do you remember this? Do you remember when Marco blamed his inconsistency on being South American, even though he's Mexican? So breaks his comments, and Red Bull had to publicly apologise, but there was like so many cracks, and that was just one crack. You know,
the list goes on.
I'd also like to say that Max never like came out and said that he supported Checo during this time as well. Max stayed in his own lane. There was a lot of things going on.
Very media trained, that man. But yeah, he stayed silent, and his silence was loud. There were whispers about clauses in his contract that were tied to Newey and Marco, and if they left, Max could walk. That was very interesting, that whole situation.
Yeah, because then Jos Verstappen, Max's dad, he went full Jos, slammed Horner, slammed Marco, spotted change Toto Wolff, like you said before, yelling in photos, like full photos that we've seen, like, yeah, it didn't look great.
Yeah. And then there's Checo, who was quietly told in 2024 that he'd be replaced for 2025. Obviously, we know Liam Lawson got that seat, only to be dropped early season for Yuki Tsunoda. As of right now, Yuki is still in that seat, but who knows? And then Checo publicly said he knew the team regrets how things ended. That's telling.
It's telling, isn't it? So that was only recently as well. It's the 14th of July right now. I think it was only 2 weeks ago that Checo was on a podcast and he said that he knew he had sources that they were regretting that and losing him. Huge. So then we fly it back July 29th, 2025, and it's announced Christian Horner is no longer team principal with immediate effect. Now, this came out on Formula Racing 365, I believe, is the media site that first dropped the bomb. And I remember seeing this on Instagram. I saw the post, but no one else had posted it. You Googled it, nothing else came up. It was like, wait, is this a rumor or is it not true? And it took a good 15, 20 minutes for anyone else to release information about that it was confirmed.
Yeah, so the day before it was made public, Horner actually addressed the Red Bull team in Milton Keynes, told them he was proud of what they had built and hoped they'd keep pushing, but he knew the axe was coming.
So it's also believed that there is a second investigation uncovered additional misconduct with Christian Horner. We don't know if that's true or not. Allegedly. Some insiders have claimed that Verstappen camp gave him the ultimatum. So Jos Verstappen said, if Horner goes and so do we. We don't think that's true. Look, that could be an option. Others say that it came down to performance. That's what Red Bull said. It came down to performance and that the car hasn't delivered. Or is it because Christian Horner lost Max with the current rumours that he is going to Mercedes?
It's all very interesting. And in his final public message, Horner said, I remain proud of everything we've achieved. I've been part of this company for 20 years and will continue to support it however I can. But he's out and reportedly being paid out the full remaining amount of his contract, estimated around £50 million.
Just casually. I mean, it's not bad. We actually had someone comment on one of our Instagram posts being like, take the money and go. You're married to a Spice Girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, if only the new generation understood how important that is.
Literally, they have no
That was like everyone's goal. I mean,
who doesn't want to do this? I mean, the amount of times I dressed up as Baby Spice.
David Beckham was like, this is the best thing in my life. I'm marrying a Spice Girl.
Literally.
Like, it's not uncommon. So now we know that Laurent Mekies has been appointed to team principal of Red Bull temporarily and also CEO. So he was previously at Ferrari and then Visa Cash App where he's been team principal. So very nice little promotion for him, but he does have massive shoes to fill.
Indeed, he does. And Red Bull doesn't look like as bulletproof as it used to be. That's what I feel anyway. McLaren have definitely caught up. Mercedes is also, they're shaking the waters there too.
Mercedes is shaking the water, but particularly shaking the water if they sign Max Verstappen.
Well, that too. But the Verstappen dynasty, I feel like it's quite shaky. It's not the solid ground that it used to be.
So yeah, like we said, Toto Wolff is eyeing for Max Verstappen. Jos definitely hasn't denied those claims. Max's brother-in-law said when Max is at Mercedes next year in a recent podcast, that is Nelson Piquet Jr. said that. It's all very speculation at the moment. We did see something of, his plane landing in Sardinia, which for 5 hours, those super sleuths out there, very fucking creepy that you can do that.
I love that you can see where, I guess someone knows obviously all their plane
numbers.
Yeah, numbers. I can't remember what that's called, but it's like a number plate. But yeah, there is this thing called Flight Tracker 24 where you can see every single plane that's in the sky. I used to work in aerospace, so I'm very interested in that. But whenever I know someone that's flying, I'll be like, let me check their flight. Oh, look, they're over the Atlantic.
Creepy.
It's cool.
I think it's cool, but it's creepy at the same
And it
time.
also makes your life easier when you're picking someone up from the airport. You can be like, oh, look, no, they're not. They're not.
But the fact that they tracked Max's plane
that's creepy.
for 5 hours in Sardinia.
I mean, the fact
it's giving I signed a contract.
It is giving I signed a contract. 5 hours, both of them in Sardinia. Questionable.
And have you seen now? There's rumors as well that everyone's like, okay, what's next for Christian Horner? I personally think he should just leave, give up. Like we said, you're married to take the money and just go. I think you come with too many problematic views. A few whispers that maybe he'd go to Ferrari. Not going to happen. I think if he stays in F1, he would go to Alpine. Yeah. He's look, someone said Aston Martin. I'm sorry, Adrian Newey wouldn't have a bar of that.
No.
I think Adrian Newey was done with Christian Horner and that was sort of part of the reason to get away.
Yes.
Alpine could probably use with someone of his experience and building up a team that doesn't have a whole lot.
Also, he's good friends with Flavio.
Yeah, and it's not far from where he lives. So in terms of family with young kids, it's not really much of a relocation issue as well. Flavio is problematic himself. So
yeah,
this could be interesting.
Also, the Horner scandal might not actually be over yet. So they would be good together.
Yeah.
But interesting as well what will come out, will more come out? Will he sue? Will he even stay within motorsports?
Time will tell. So maybe we will need a part 3 on this.
I think so. I think we need to look at what's next for Red Bull Racing and whether Max will stick around and if Horner does ever reappear.
We'll know more this week, I guess.
Yeah. But thanks for listening, guys.
We hope you've enjoyed our little deep dive, our 2-part series into Christian Horner and the Red Bull Racing team.
And if you've liked this, make sure you like and subscribe anyway. And also we love doing little deep dives. I think we're going to do a little bit more of this, but especially now it just seemed fitting with everything that's going on.
Oh, we couldn't not talk about this and go into it in detail. No. There was one episode would have been way too long.
Way too long. So if you want some more of these, let us know.
Let us know who you'd like to hear about next. Go into a deep dive of a bit of a scandal. Scandal.
Yes.
We like to talk about scandals. And also make sure you share this with your friends.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. I'd love to see how many people get shared of this.
But thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.
Love yous.
Bye.
Bye.